Hello, and welcome back to the Canon Sports Show, ladies and gentlemen. So, we've got a UFC podcast going on today. Yeah, first one, UFC 290. Happened a couple days ago. I'm a bit slow getting on top of it. I was doing some stuff this weekend, so just didn't have time to record this, but it's all good. Don't need to worry about that too much. We're gonna get into it right now. So, this was International Fight Week. Big fight card. 2 championship fights. Basically one title eliminator. Prospect Bo Nickel fighting Robbie Lawler's last fight of his UFC career. It was an incredible fight card. I had so much fun watching this with my friends. We truly enjoyed every single fight on the main card. And that's hard to come by nowadays. There's always at least like a couple fights where they're just boring. I thought that the decisions were really good when they needed to be. There was a lot of finishes, so there wasn't really a need for decisions too much. But yeah, no, I truly loved this fight card. I thought that it's International Fight Week, so you expect it to be the best fight card of the year, and the UFC definitely delivered. Anyway, let's get into it. So I mainly want to talk about the main card here, but we just have to talk about it. Robbie Lawler. What a way to go out, man. Last fight of his UFC career. Gets the knockout in 38 seconds. That's incredible. Like, you could not have pictured a better finish for Robbie. I'm so happy for him. I hope nothing but the best for him in retirement. He's a true legend. Always will be a legend in the UFC. And, yeah, all you can really say is... I don't know. All I could say was wow the entire time watching that. Anyway, let's move on to Bo Nickel, Val Woodburn. So, Bo Nickel, he's just proving himself more and more. He proves himself at every single fight, and he proves that he belongs in the UFC every single time that he wins. He's easily the most exciting prospect right now in the UFC, I would say, outside of Ian Gary. Ian Gary, just because he's proven himself against higher talent, and he's just as exciting as of a prospect. I know that Val Woodburn isn't exactly, the greatest opponent in the world. Bo Nickel was heavily favored to win this. But Bo Nickel's a wrestler. And he knocked this dude out with like 4 fantastic punches. He just didn't let the man breathe. And Woodburn was kind of charging in, hands down, didn't really try and block his head. But Nickel still, again, the fact that he's proving more and more that he's got some boxing in him, that's huge for him. It's absolutely huge. And he's only going to get better too. He's still young. He's got a lot of time left to keep on improving. And I think that he needs a bigger test the next time he fights. Hopefully the UFC can give this to him. I think there's a good chance that he gets booked against Trishan Gore again. Just because obviously Gore had to pull out of the fight. Or I think he could get a ranked opponent. I don't think he should. I think he could though, just because he's got that wrestling pedigree. So they might give it to him. I don't think they should. But they could give him someone like, a 15th ranked fighter, Chris Curtis. Who knows? There's a lot of people he could fight. I don't know much about the unranked middleweights, so honestly his next fight could be against someone I have no idea who they are. But either way, I'm excited to see him fight again. Hopefully fight again soon because he took 0 fucking damage. So he's gonna be just fine. Jalen Turner, Dan Hooker. What a fight. Oh my gosh. This was one of probably my favorite fights to watch. It was back and forth. It was easily, I'd say, in terms of total fight, I'd probably say my second favorite fight of the night. So Hooker in the second round early got hit with a big head kick, and I thought he was done. I did not think that he was going to survive. I thought, oh my gosh, Dan Hooker, he's done. Jalen Turner is going to win this pretty easily. He's going to win this round. Me and my friends were all like, oh, he's done. He's not getting up. And then he comes back he fights back so well, and at the end of that second round, like he's about to submit Jalen Turner. If there's 15 more seconds in that round, he would have won by submission. And then in the third round, it was 1-1 apiece going to that third round. Hooker, great performance. Just didn't let Turner breathe. He dominated the round, landed a lot of really good punches, and I think got some control time at a certain point. He just fought amazing, and he deserved the win. I scored the fight 29-28. As you can see here, two of the judges agreed with me. One judge had Turner winning that third round. I don't know. They're smoking something. I don't think Turner... There was no case for Turner winning either of the last two rounds, in my opinion, but that's alright. I think that they both prove that they can stay in the rankings and fight ranked opponents, though. These are two really good fighters. I think Hooker's going to get someone inside the top 10 next, and I think Jalen Turner will most likely get someone in the ranked 10 to 15, somewhere around there, is what I'd say. I think that they both, though, were phenomenal. This was such an entertaining fight. I had a lot of fun watching this one. Robert Whittaker versus Dricus Du Plessis. Oh my god, this was a good fight too. So, I'm a big Robert Whittaker fan. I really like Robert Whittaker. I think he's a fantastic fighter. He got dominated by Dricus Du Plessis. Like, it's got to be one of the most surprising fights of the night. I thought Whittaker was going to win the fight. I thought it would be close, because Dricus Du Plessis is a good fighter, but so is Whittaker, but Whittaker did not look good. Dricus dominated. He had a great first round, looked more comfortable, he was hitting his shots with ease, didn't really have to work too much to get them, and he had a really good end to the round, like a good 2 minutes at the very end, where he secured the round. So Whittaker, obviously going into the second round, has to be a bit more active, has to kind of get into Dricus a bit, and hit him with a big left hook, knocked Whittaker down, and Whittaker just could not fight after that, pretty much. Like, he was just done. That left hook was phenomenal, beautiful, and it really does suck for Whittaker, because he's a great fighter. He deserved to get another title shot, but again, Dricus got a big win and took that away, and now he's going to get the title shot. So I think with Whittaker, it was a bad loss, but he's won a couple fights before then. Still top 5 middleweight. I think him versus Paulo Costa is the fight to make. I think it could be a really fun fight. It gives Costa the chance to prove his title shot worth, or at least top 5 opponent worth, and gives Rob a good fight where he's able to secure his top 5 ranking and work his way back up to a potential title fight. I think he could also fight Cannonier again, but again, the last time they fought, he did win that fight pretty easily. But again, Cannonier's looked really good since that fight, so I would not mind seeing them go at it again. And now, we all know that Dricus Du Plessis and Israel Adesanya are going to be fighting next. That's a given, everyone knows this. Like, I'm so excited for that fight. Him and Izzy got into it in the ring, too, because Izzy faces him off in the ring, just yelling at him. Bro, like, he said the N-word, 20 times, something like that to him. There's this whole rivalry thing, whole beef, due to Dricus basically claiming he was going to be, the first true African to win a belt. And I could be talking out of context here in terms of what he said, but that's basically what I've heard and from the clips I've seen. And Izzy does not like him at all. These two do not like each other. It's going to be an exciting fight. I feel like, obviously, Izzy's one of the greatest strikers in the history of the UFC. But Dricus, he's dangerous. And he's not scared at all. I think it's going to be an intriguing fight, but Israel Adesanya is my favorite fighter, so I hope that he's going to win that. I think we're going to be looking, though, at one of the biggest rivalries, or rival fights, at least, in recent time. And it's funny, too, how all these big rival fights that happen are with Israel Adesanya. That's what I love about Izzy, too, is, he's a great fighter, but he also just creates great fights based off of the rivalries he creates. He's like a a better personality Colby Covington and also a better fighter. But I can't wait to see this dude fight. It's gonna be incredible. And hopefully that's gonna happen in Australia for that fight card. Because I mean, Duplessis he got hit, but not a lot. So I think personally he's going to get that fight in Australia. But we'll see. Moreno versus Pantoja. Or Pantoja. I don't. Pantoja. That's right. Yeah, I'm stupid. This was easily one of the best fights I have ever watched. It is the best fight of the card, the best fight of the year so far. It, it was fantastic. It was back and forth. These two fighters showed so much heart. No one gave up. So Moreno got knocked down that first round. And I thought he was done. I didn't think he was going to survive the first. And after that, I was like, he's just not going to be able to come back after this. And then he comes back with a huge second round. He showed his ability to fight through adversity. It was fantastic watching Moreno fight through that. In the end, though, Moreno couldn't keep Pantoja off him. Pantoja kept on getting him to the ground, and that's ultimately what cost Moreno the fight. I mean, you look here, the takedowns, 6-2, control time, double the control time, and like significant strikes aren't. Moreno's got more significant strikes, but Pantoja's got a lot too on top of the takedowns and control time and the knockdown. I don't know. It was a great fight, but the ground game is what cost Moreno the fight. I personally would have scored the fight 48-47 in favor of Pantoja. As you can see here, two of the judges had that same score. One scored at 49-46 Moreno, which is, to put it lightly, fucking stupid. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay. You know what? Like, they just need to make a quick little change. Just fire that dude, and perfect. We are all good. In terms of the next fight for both of these dudes, there's no, like, other option. They need a rematch. I want to see this fight again. These two have fought 3 times. Once in The Ultimate Fighter, once a while ago, outside of The Ultimate Fighter, and now obviously this fight most recently. But this is the best we've ever seen Moreno look, and he can improve a lot still. If he can just work on his ground game a bit more, he could really go after Pantoja. And we're about to see Moreno go through another quadrilogy. I might have fucked it up. But it's just funny seeing Moreno fight the same dude basically for years. It sucks too because, I don't know, it's gonna suck because I've really wanted to see Kai Kara France fight Brandon Moreno. After I was hoping Moreno was gonna win so that could happen, but then Kai Kara France got screwed in his last fight, so that's not happening, unfortunately, anytime soon. Anyway, the main event: Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez. This was a great fight too. Like, this was definitely not the best fight of the card, but it was still a fantastic fight. To sum up the fight, Volkanovski beat the living shit out of Yair Rodriguez. He didn't let him breathe. Yair did a good job, though, when he was on the feet. You know, he was getting a lot of good kicks in, body kicks, leg kicks, head kicks. That front kick was working really well for him. But every single time, Volk just defended well. He got his own strikes in. Eventually got him to the ground. Why the fuck are you popping up? Sorry about that. And Yair did good, but Volk just showed why he's the champ, why he's the better fighter. And he dominated the fight, and in the end got a round 3 TKO. Yair proved that he's a good fighter, deserves to be a top 5 featherweight. I mean, he lost to arguably the greatest featherweight of all time. And I think he's slowly putting himself more and more into the greatest fighter of all time conversation. Volk proved why he should be the number 1 ranked pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He's just so good. Everything he does is perfection. I mean, he took more damage in his training than he did in this fight. Like, he came in with a cut underneath his cheek. Like, he looked the same after the fight was over, man. So I think that for Yair Rodriguez, he should fight Max Holloway. next, assuming that Max were to win against the Korean Zombie, which he should. It gives Max that last fight to prove, like, hey, I should be getting a title shot. Because Max has already fought Volk a lot. And then if Max were to somehow lose, you could give Yair a top 5 fighter like Ortega or Allen. But I think that him versus Max would be a fun fight. You know, two strikers who have fought before, I believe. And I believe Max won, but I wouldn't mind a rematch. Volkanovski and Ilya Tupuria need to fight next. Tupuria is so good, bro. I've never seen a fighter like him. Like, just so fluid, so sharp, fast. He can do everything. He can kick, he can punch, he's got grappling. Him versus Volk is going to be a fun fight, and I think that's going to be the next fight. You saw Volk kind of called him out a little bit, saying that he was running his mouth, and then they had like a little bit of a face-off after. Not like Izzy and Duplessis did, but it was still a good little face-off. So I'm hoping that's the next. And unfortunately, I would love to say I want Volk to fight Makhachev next, but Volk's gotta take. He's got surgery on his right arm, or maybe not his right arm, but he's got surgery on his arm, and he's not going to be able to fight Makhachev in time because Makhachev is going to defend his belt soon, or he's going to lose it. So, hopefully, we'll see Makhachev fight somebody else, Volk versus Tupuria, and then maybe we see Volk fight Makhachev after that. Who knows? This may be the fight, however, where Volk loses his belt. And Tupuria, he's a warrior. He's an absolute warrior in the octagon. I've not seen a fighter like him look just so dangerous in a long time. Like, if you go and look at the fight he just had with Josh Emmett, he just looked fantastic. But we've said this before about guys that Volk's fighting. A lot of people thought that Yair could win, and Volk dominated. Like, even when they were on the feet, Volk didn't look bad. And Volk just waited, took his time, and then got him to the ground. So, that would be an interesting fight still. Again, this fight card was fantastic. I had so much fun watching all these fights. This is setting up a lot of really good fights too in the future. And hopefully, the next main event that we have for the UFC 291, Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier. Ooh, that's going to be a good one. I hope that can be another good fight card as well. But anyway, I think this is where I'm going to end the podcast. I've kind of talked about everything I want to talk about. Thank you if you stayed till the end, thank you for watching. If you guys wouldn't mind liking and subscribing. One thing I want to say quickly, on my most recent Suns podcast that I did, I got a lot of support for it. I got a lot of views. Like, if you go and look at my thing, I've got no views in my first 2 videos, and then I get over 1,500 now on my third. That's incredible. I just want to say thank you. Again, I don't make these videos to try to make money or anything like that. I'm making these because I have an interest in sports broadcasting, and I want to just give my opinions, give my takes, and I just have a lot of fun making these, so I really appreciate the support I got. I got some really good comments out of there. I had fun talking to a few of you guys. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.